Would you please be seated? The average life expectancy for males in Canada is 80 years old, and for females, it's 84. You may be asking yourself, Chike, what does this have to do with me? Well, it has so much to do with each and every one of you in this chapel here today. My big question is, what will you do with those 80 or 84 years? What will you do to live a good and fulfilling life? Who knows, if you eat healthy and exercise, you could surpass that average. I know the topic of how to live a good life is a rather large topic for a 17-year-old boy, but I feel like even though I've barely scratched the surface of life, I can offer some wisdom and insight to the younger grades, my peers, and even some of the faculty on what I do to live a good and happy life. I simply follow these rules. Remove all hate, accept change, accept others, be yourself, and take risks. The first and the hardest of the 5 for most people is removing hate. The word hate is a word that, in my opinion, is used entirely too much to describe emotion in this day and age. The word is so powerful and can really hurt someone when it is said. To say you hate someone would mean you do not like a single thing about them because of a particular incident between you and said person. Think of all the things you do when you hate someone. Some people give them dirty looks, avoid them, talk about them behind their backs, etc. It takes effort to do all of those things. And we are taught early on to only put effort into things we love and enjoy because we care about them. My point is, you have to put effort into hating someone, meaning you have to like to hate someone. And why would you like to hate someone? It takes too much effort to talk behind that person's back so others can see your point of view. Why not just forgive, forget, and move forward? If you hate someone because of what they have done to you in the past or how they act as a person, just remember this. You do not know what is going on in their life to make them act that way. People make decisions and act the way they do based on what is going on in their life, and you cannot control what's going on in someone's life. So next time you're in a fight with someone or do not like the way someone is acting, before you use a word as strong as hate to describe your feelings towards them, I caution you to stop and think. Put yourself in their shoes. That person could be in a really tough situation at home, and that is why they did what they did to you. Would you make the same judgment if you were in that position? You cannot take what people say to you personally because, as I stated previously, people do things based on the situation they are in. Remove the word hate from your vocabulary. It is a negative and harsh word, and I myself don't even use it. I promise you, once you do all those things I listed above, you'll feel so uplifted. It is important to forgive and not to harbor feelings from the past because you never know when you're going to need that person again. You're always going to meet some people you may not get along with or do not particularly care for, but you have to be cordial and respectful to these people. Hating someone should never be the answer. The next 2 rules I follow to live a good and happy life, I've decided to talk about as one because they are so similar. Those 2 are being yourself and accepting change. The 2 do not seem similar, but I promise you they are. Being yourself is something a majority of people struggle with. As humans, all we want is acceptance from our peers and family, and sometimes to gain that, we lose ourselves along the way. I myself have always had a strong sense of self, but in the 10th grade, the year I came to Appleby, I almost lost myself. This is a tough thing for me to talk about because it was one of the lowest points for me. And now I will give you the classic when I came to Appleby story. When I came to Appleby, I had lived and gone to school in Mississauga, and as close as Oakville and Mississauga are in direction, they seem like different countries rather than 2 different cities in the same province. In terms of the way kids I know act and speak. The school I had attended previous to Appleby was St. Joan of Arc Catholic Secondary School. St. Joan of Arc had around 1,400 kids in it. We wore a black polo and khaki pants as our uniform, and we took the same 4 classes every day until the beginning of the new semester in January. Not only are there distinct differences between Appleby and St. Joan of Arc in terms of size, uniform, and rigor, the big difference for me was the people in each school. Before even visiting Appleby, I had already heard the rumors of students at Appleby being rich, preppy, selfish, and arrogant. So I wasn't exactly excited to spend my remaining high school years here. However, my sister Tamachi, who had just finished her 10th grade year at Appleby, had assured me that was the exact opposite. Even then, I was still nervous and anxious for my first day of school. My first day went extremely well. I made friends, and people seemed to genuinely care and like me. However, as the excitement of being the new kid wore off and everything began to settle once again, I found with the friends I had made, I felt like I wasn't being heard, and I felt as though I couldn't relate because I hadn't been there the previous year to share those memories with them. I felt alone, even though I was surrounded by people. So I thought to get the acceptance and inclusion I desired, I needed to act like them and do the things they did. So I did. From September until December, I was doing things I wouldn't normally do and saying things I would never say. Even my friends from Mississauga had noticed a difference for me and had told me Appleby had changed me. I had assured them I was the same Chike as always. They had shrugged and went about their business. I was now in a position where I had to act differently outside of school, so my older friends didn't think I had changed, and I had to act differently in school so I could get the acceptance and inclusion I so long desired for. It felt like I was living a double life, and it was very exhausting. Once I finally got the inclusion I had so long desired for, I thought I would feel happy and joyous, but what overcame me next was complete sadness and frustration. These people didn't know who I actually was. The way I was acting wasn't who I was at all. They liked me because they saw themselves in me, not for me. After exams, I was seriously considering telling my parents to take me out of Appleby because I couldn't adapt. I dreaded going to school every day because I had to put on a mask and be someone I wasn't. I just wasn't happy. Something clearly changed or I wouldn't be here talking to you all today. During the break, I got a text from a now past Appleby student, Dalton Follows. Dalton was one of the few people who truly knew me. I felt comfortable around him, so I opened myself up to him. I ended up telling Dalton I was considering not coming back to Appleby in the winter, and he gave me some of the best and simplest advice ever. He told me to be myself and find people who would like me for me. He told me to lead and not follow, and so I did. When I came back in January, I started hanging out with different people, and I started being myself, and people liked it. I was being included, and I was more than accepted by this new group of friends. That next year of grade 11, I started the year acting like I would normally act with anyone. And my friends that I had made at the beginning of the year in grade 10 had liked me for it. They even asked me why I hadn't opened up to them before. And from being myself, I now have the most amazing friends ever, and I wouldn't trade them for the world, and I would do absolutely anything for them. And I love you guys. Thank you. The point of the story is that to accept change, you do not have to change as well. Things and people around you will change, but to truly accept change in the environments that go along with it, you just have to participate in the environment. You do not have to change with it. You do that by participating and being open-minded towards what's going on in the environment you're in. You do not have to be like the people in your new environment. Be yourself, because being something you're not leads to confusion of self and genuine unhappiness. Like Dr. Seuss said, to be number one, you have to be the odd one. It would be boring if we're all the same, so be you. No one can be a better you than you. You can try your hardest to imitate or imitate your favorite friend or your favorite superstar or whoever it is, but you will never be them. Along with accepting the inevitable change in your life, you must accept other people around you. We all want to be accepted by our peers, and to not accept someone based on their differences is a cruel and poor reflection of your own character. You would want people to accept you for who you are, so why outcast and ridicule someone because of their differences and their opinions? Their differences in opinions and personalities is what makes them special and unique, and just because they do not share the same opinion and personality traits as you does not give you the right to make them feel bad. Welcome the differences and embrace them for it, even though you may not agree with their opinions. If we were all the same, life wouldn't be a fun and intense roller coaster ride full of ups and downs and twists and turns. It'd be like one of those moving walkways, flat and boring. Many of my close friends do not share the same opinion as me, but I do not ridicule them for it. I accept them and listen to their side and why they think the way they do. Accepting others allows you to understand that person, and it gives you an insight on how that person may think and act. One of the things I'm most grateful for at this school is how diverse we are as a student body. There's so many different opinions, and it's refreshing and nice to hear them. And sometimes the opinion you may have had could change based on hearing another person's point of view. I know for me personally, this has happened so many times. If I hadn't learned to accept others, if I had not learned to accept others' differences and embrace them, I wouldn't be here right now. Stand out, don't blend in. Lastly, this rule is a rule I follow religiously to live a good life, and is taking risks. I cannot stress how important this rule is. The importance of this rule was conveyed to me by my father in one of our many conversations about life. My dad sat me down and said, "Chike, do you know why angry people in their old age are angry?" I said, "I don't know." I had no clue what this had to do with me, but I went along with it. I said, "I don't know, maybe because they're old and they can't do the things that they normally would do." And he said, "That's part of the reason, but a majority of it is because they're regretful. In their youth, they did not take the risks. They did not take the risks that were presented to them. They played life safely." My dad then said, "You do not want to be in your old age angry because you're afraid of failure, so you played life safe and didn't take any risks." I took this advice to heart, and I follow it religiously, within reason, of course. I always put myself out there, regardless of what people think, and with a mindset of success, not failure. If I do fail, I can say I tried and didn't work, or it just wasn't for me. However, if I never tried in the first place, I would never know if it would have worked for me or not. I would constantly think, what if, or I should have. I would rather live with, oh, well, I tried than the I should haves. If I can guarantee you, if you take risks and try new things, you will learn new things about yourself each and every time. By doing this, it helps you grow and mature as a person, and isn't that what life is all about? So next time you're thinking, should I do this or that, take that risk, because if you do not, you'll never know, and nothing is worse than living life with regrets. Do not be afraid of failure, embrace it. Thank you all very much, and now would you please rise and sing hymn 128.